Assalamu alaikum, dear students. I think you are well by the grace of Almighty Allah and stay safe in your home. You know very well we have started our online classes. Meanwhile, I have given a class to you. I delivered a class with a view to the students of honors third year. And the lecture is about the life of Ben Jonson of Volpone. The course number 231101. So dear students, I think if you go through the lecture and watch the video, I think you will be very benefited. But it's up to you. It's your duty, main duty, to watch the video and to get knowledge and make a good preparation. So, let's start my second lecture of Volpone. Honors third year, code number 231101. The last lecture, in the end or conclusion, I gave you a word that I will deliver the lecture about Volpone. The character, the Volpone is a comedy, is a humor, what is the position of that time, etc. portrayed. But I think before going to deliver about the lecture of Volpone, you need the temporary time. And that the topic I have designed, English society in Ben Jonson's time. I think if you know the time of Ben Jonson, you will clearly understand the theme, the idea, and the other activities of Volpone nicely. So, let's see, dear friends, Volpone here. But before going to deliver the lecture, you should have Dhaka Women College, Department of English, honors third year, course number 231101, lecture number 2. Shikdar Jahangir Hossain, head of the department. Volpone, topic, the English society in Jonson's time. What is the condition of the time of Jonson's? Ben Jonson is a writer of Volpone. So first of all, we keep our eyesight on the headline, the topic, the English society in Jonson's time. Number 1, period of Elizabeth. Number 1, the period of Elizabeth. You know, Elizabeth was the Queen of England of that time when Ben Jonson was born. But the pastime of England was not sweet. I think if you remember the second year honors, course number 7, 221107, the history of English literature. Here you knew the first time of England. England was not a suitable country or a civilized country or a rich country or developed country in that time. But gradual development actually enriched England. And now we say that English is a civilized country or developed country, rich country. So during the time of Elizabeth, the power which has come to their hand, they remember and they believe, and not only this, the people of England also believe that this kind of power is bestowed or has been bestowed to these kinds of men, that is king and queen. So king and queen actually they are, and the royal families are really a powerful family because it was God gift power. So the normal people always believe very much and respect them very much because they have got, and this kind of it was a divinely sanctioned king and queen. It was God gift. They remember, and also the people of England remember that the power is God gift power. So normally the nobility, the gentle folk, the common folk were subordinate to them because the king and queen and the royal family actually became very powerful at that time. And homilies were read in the church to believe and establish this idea, this image. And not only this, labor, during that time, labor was one of the important points to be raised or to reach in high position. So, when as the society became more permissive, new ideas already been started to make a question about the world views. So, the Renaissance, the spirit of Renaissance and Machiavellian pragmatic began to support this, assert this. So, Renaissance actually brought a fresh air into the English thinking, English society by bringing the in a zest for life, the spirit of inquiry, the adventure, and craving for transcendence. So all the motives, all the sections are actually tried to make England rich and develop. So actually, though Machiavellian actually tried to make separation of politics from religion, but failed. But it was loosened, and the society became more and more modern. Not only this, Elizabethan age was one of the speedy activity and reckless adventure, especially physically and mentally. So, new trade was formed in England at the time of Elizabeth. Mainly the trade, the commerce, voyage, colonization, exploitation, exploration, devotion for study, especially in university. The university students wanted to make them sufficient and make them scholar, learned. And not only this, the newly rich and middle class families or the people started to come to assemble in England. To London mainly, they tried to shift themselves. And during that time also they lived in that slums and different type of miserable conditions found of that time. So during that time, opening theaters and race of actors, a lot of actors were born. Playwrights, that's the dramatists, came into existence. And Now we can remember some names like Green, Nash, Lily, Peely, Keat, Thomas Keat, and Marlowe. They were the contributor to establish these literary trends. So they were the contributor of drama and plays. For this reason, during this time, drama became or has come into a common form of entertainment. So this is the period of Elizabeth. Now I like to start the second point, life in court. Number 2, life in court. It is another point. Henry VIII was in the throne, and when he came to the higher position, he had shattered the feudal lords, the feudal power. So the royal court actually became the main center of all success. And if anyone wants to reach or wanted to be reached in that time, they should need the permission of the royal court. So normally we can say royal courts patronize was very important to them. For this reason, normally the different type of illegal, unlawful activities were found at that time, like rivalries, jealousies, favorism, corruption, and intrigues were common, especially when after the king James VI, who was the king of Scotland near about 16 years, and when he became the king of England, he was called James I. But during his time, England was not fine, fresh or clear. The people were in England were very, had to go a very hard struggle. Clear? Number 3, the growing middle class, the merchandise. Number 3, growing, Growing, growing middle class, MIDDLE, middle class, growing middle class. That we can say the merchants, that the businessman. So during this period, the East India Company was formed, most probably in 1601 or 1601. So a lot of merchandise and also the businessmen or the traders, commerce people came forward or came to every corner of the earth to England to purchase the land or the estates from the king or the impoverished countries. So ultimately, the England became a powerful center of devising the power, the wealth, the property. So normally a group of people became very rich by getting all kinds of facilities from the royal court of England. So we can say that capitalism was started, and during that period the people worshipped the wealth, and they remember the wealth was God. Wealth became God to be worshipped. So, by earning their money or properties or wealth property or to be rich, they cutthroat competition and inhuman exploitation were very common. So cutthroat competition, it means the mistress of the normal people, the common people, the general people, the sufferings were increased of those kinds of people. So what we see normally in the Volpone, through the character of Volpone and Pascal. Okay. Number four, the theatre. The common folk. I like to omit this. The common folk. Number 3, 4. The common folk is one of the most important points of Elizabethan period. The lower class people or the common people actually did not get any benefit from the court or the king's family or queen's family. So they had to go a hard struggle, they had to suffer. They were exploited from their rights. They could not share to adjust with the prosperity of the royal family or England. So normally unemployed or the poor people and the sufferer crowded in London, and they made a lot of slums and they want to live there. But the slums are not very luxurious. Only the poor can live these kinds of slums or habitats or residents. So these are the residents of the common people and the poor people and the sufferer. So they had to go or they had to face a lot of problems like different type of disease, roughness, piping, thieving, robbery, and prostitution was also common in these kinds of slums. And not only this, they had to survive through these. And different type of crimes are also there. That is roughness, misconduct, misbehavior, unlawful activities, illegal activities. So these kinds of illegal activities or unlawful activities were increased during this time. So the time was not sweet. But through this drama of Mr. Ben Jonson, we have seen it. We have seen it through the characters. A lot of characters are there, very well. Volpone, Muscas, Corvino, Corvaccio, Vulture, etc., etc. And they did or acted different type of way. Though they were birds, but they were the symbols of human beings. And their voice was human beings, but the actors were animals. Sometimes we can say the Volpone is a fable drama. Next time we can discuss about that. Okay. Next, so normally we can say the common folk who is actually was introduced to us. The people of England were not happy of that time. Common people, only the aristocratic people, the rich family, the higher class family can enjoy everything, could enjoy everything. But the normal people, the lower class people, the poor people, they were at sufferer actually. And they had to go a very hard struggle. So labor is one of them, and they were the laborers. They worked, and the higher class people could enjoy everything. Next, we can discuss about the theatre, number 5. Theatres. During Elizabethan period, theatres became very popular. Because during that time, by this time I have told you that a lot of dramatists were born. And these kinds of dramatists are called university scholar, university wits. And among them, I have told you that they are the Green, Thomas Nash, Thomas Peele, Thomas Lees, and Thomas Kidd, and last of all, Christopher Marlowe. And including this time, Shakespeare is one of them, who was born in 1564 on a Stratford upon Avon, and the date was 23 April. Someone calls 21 April. Okay. It was acknowledged that Shakespeare was born 23 April or 1564, and he was the greatest dramatist, and with the contribution of the drama of Shakespeare actually during this time, that was the 16th century, actually England became a very popular with the help of contribution of Shakespeare, like Ben Jonson, like Peele, like Keats, like Marlowe, Green, etc. Laws. So they are mainly the contributor to enrich England, not only in academically or literally, but also in prosperity. So the theatre became the popular because a lot of actors were born also. The last lecture I have told you, Mr. Jonson was an actor and also playwright. At the same time, William Shakespeare was also an actor and a great dramatist. So actors, playwrights, and not only they got some facilities from the royal court, though at the first time they did not get any. But when their contribution made England popularity, for this reason the royal family came to stretch their hand to give them facilities. So these kinds of actors and playwrights or dramatists got some facilities or patronized of the nobility. So normally drama was encouraged. Very popularity by court and aristocrats. Drama was encouraged by court and aristocrats like royal family. But there are some obligations. The London civil societies or authorities and the Puritan who believe another a religious sect, they never did it or take it easy. They made an objection against these kinds of theatre, but their objection did not last. So normally London and Puritan chant an objection, but there are some important theatres were born of that time, like the Curtain, like the Hope, and Shakespeare's The Globe, which was very important to the common people of England. And some people, though, made their hesitation, made their hilarious activities against them, but when Jonson's collaboration with Shakespeare, they overcame it. So, though we know very well that the theatres were divided into two parts, private theatres and public theatres. Private theatres are in the inside of the town, and public theatres were built in the outside of the town. So, the theatres inside, which is actually built in the city, like courtyards, like in an inn, hall of a nobleman's house. But the hall theatres or the theatres stage were structurally different. This is the description of theatres which was increased in Ben Jonson's time. Next, 6 number, stage convention, soliloquy. Soliloquy is thinking of the time. Soliloquy means, one person is speaking and there is no audience, like a man. So, when a soliloquy was started in the stage, it was given by one person and here only one. And this kinds of convention was held in Jonson's time. Number 7, very interesting. Jonson's aim, realism. 6, stage convention, STAGE, convention, and number 7, Jonson's aim. Jonson's aim or realism. So I have given the lecture of stage convention, it was a soliloquy. Next, Jonson's aim or realism on stage. And it is the reality and the realism first was formed by Ben Jonson, who brought it in the stage. So actually Jonson helped to bring this real purpose or the reality or realism to the stage first. No one has come or brought it into the stage first. So he was the first inventor to set up realism in the stage. And he accepted many conventions of the contemporary time. And some liberties were rejected by Ben Jonson. Some of the dramatists believed liberty, but Jonson did not believe it. So there are some little different. And Inigo is one of the most important actor of Benson's time, very well. And when they jointly published their writings, and there are a little bit difference between them, and ultimately Gabriel Stevenson was killed by Ben Jonson. The first lecture I have told you. So this is the life of the English society in Jonson time. And last of all, conclusion. A lot of romantic poets and playwrights, including Shakespeare, used this conventional technique and also the realism, what he first staged in the theatre. So at the end of I have completed my lecture about the topic, the English society in Jonson's time. So it's very important to you. If you go to the lecture of next time, you should have to emphasis on this lecture, because it is a very introductory and it will be very helpful to you. So thank you, my dear students, and next time I like to go to start Volpone. First of all, the summary or the characters or the theme. Okay, dears, you can go first the summary, and then it will be very easy to you. Up to that, keep stay and sound and good health. Thank you, my dear students. Allah Hafiz, and pray me.